Hey guys, this is Josh McKinney here. I am here with my friends Alex Nantel and our producer Logan Wayne, and you are listening to the South American Ground Karate Podcast.
What's up? I'm Logan.
I'm Alex.
All right. Well, we're just starting out our podcast today, so we are just going to give you a little heads up about what this podcast is even about. What is South American Ground Karate?
Well, basically it's Jiu Jitsu. Well, it really is Jiu Jitsu.
It's a fun way to say Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. If you are not familiar with geography, Brazil is a little country right under America. If you're looking at the map of the United States of America, underneath us is a continent called South America.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
I believe so. I'm not positive though.
I mean, it's not right below the United States.
Directly below the United States. We're in St. Louis, Missouri right now. Directly below St. Louis is Brazil, correct?
Correct. I'm with you now. I get it.
Okay. And Mr. Logan, our producer, has a little intro for us on what we're going to be discussing today.
Sure. All right. So we started this podcast for many reasons, but our main goals are to educate others about jiu-jitsu, the lifestyle, competing, training, teaching, and of course the philosophy. But we're more than just jiu-jitsu. We're all individuals that bring a unique perspective to the table about life, humor, society, that kind of stuff. We also might talk about other things like movies, humor, TV shows, anything. You never know.
Yeah, and that's good. Like you said, we're three unique individuals. Let's just tell the fans, the crowd, a little bit about ourselves. I can go first.
Yeah.
My name's Josh McKinney. I'm about 5'10". I love long walks on the beach while listening to the Backstreet Boys.
You might want to go more relevant to jiu-jitsu.
Okay. I'm a brown belt under Kyle Watson. I've been training jiu-jitsu for about 9 years. Actually, the reason I started jiu-jitsu was my mom made me. I was overweight. She said, "Hey, you're gonna do this." And I've started out my first class. I've been training every day since for about 9 years. I've competed all over the country. I'm a Pan American Game champion. This is a blue belt, so it's not even that relevant anymore, I guess. But I am. So don't forget it. That's how you should address me. And I run a school in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, called Head Nod HQ. I'm also one of the owners of the Head Nod Squad. And lastly, I'm sponsored by two great companies, Maeda. Maeda brand is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gi company. Be sure to check them out, maedabrand.com. And Leo Optics, they offer the coolest shades in Jiu-Jitsu. Maybe the only shades in Jiu-Jitsu, but definitely the coolest.
Real quick, what is Head Nod Squad, the business? Like, what is it all about?
Head Nod Squad is, it's a group, me and Adam Marburger. We decided to start an apparel company, and the Head Nod Squad is, obviously you're listening online, so you can't really see us do a head nod, but you know what a head nod is, Google it.
Yeah.
We would always head nod people. We just thought it was funny, and one of the guys at our gym said, "Hey, you guys should call yourselves the Head Nod Squad." And so
it's like a nickname that never got away from you.
Yeah, so typical. It was like, oh, we should make a t-shirt brand. Who hasn't said that? Let's start a bar, let's open a restaurant, let's start a band, let's make a t-shirt brand. And so we started it, and we said, okay, this is silly if we're not doing anything to help other people. It doesn't make sense. We're the exact same as every other random t-shirt brand. So what we started doing is donating 10% of all of our proceeds to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, LLS. And
cool.
If you want to look up anything about them, the leukemialymphomasociety.com, they really explain their goal and stuff. It's a really great company. We did a lot of research on what company we wanted to sponsor. But that's enough about me and the Head Nod Squad. Let's hear about you, Mr. Logan.
Okay. Well, like Josh said, I'm Logan. I've been practicing jiu-jitsu for a little over 10 years. I'm an instructional designer by profession. I'm also a father of two beautiful daughters, and I married my high school sweetheart back in 2004. I know.
Very beautiful.
What a loser. Let's see. I'm sponsored by Head Nod Squad as well. I'm also sponsored by Breakpoint at breakpointfc.com. The Catalyst Foundation, you can check them out at www.catalystfoundation.org. It's a really good community outreach program that goes into Vietnam and other third world countries and tries to raise the social standard in developing little countries over there. You can also find me on Facebook at Clever Fox Jiu Jitsu JJ, and that's Fox PHOX.
Oh,
I know.
man.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Alex?
Well, my accolades are nowhere near as great as these guys. I've been training jiu-jitsu since I was around 14, but I've been training consistently since I was 17, and I'm 19 now. I train under Kyle Watson and Josh McKinney. I have a blue belt under Kyle Watson. I've won nothing of note. I just really enjoy training, so that's why I do it all the time. And
he's really good at winning in the gym, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gym
And
tough
then I'm
guy.
like, Alex, you got to leave kids class, man. Stop heel hooking all my kids.
They deserve it, I'm sure.
They trust me, they do deserve it, those little ankle biters. But that's pretty much it. I just enjoy training jiu-jitsu. I'm in school right now, studying electrical work at Rankin, which is quite a time. But I don't know. That's pretty much my introduction, I think.
Okay. Josh, how about, are you on social network? Like, if people want to check you out or check out the school, like, how do they find all that stuff?
I did recently get on Instagram.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Instagram. But I have a few followers. My account name is the Josh McKinney. Be sure to look me up. If you can't spell McKinney, just try your best.
And I'm going to put on the show notes, I'll put everybody's social media links and stuff so you can just check it out there too. And don't forget, if you like the podcast, subscribe, like it, tell everybody on your social network.
Get a tattoo.
We'll keep making them.
Get a tattoo. That's the only way to really do it.
If you guys subscribe and like it, we'll keep making them.
If you don't, we'll
still keep making them.
Yeah, pretty much. That'll work. All right. Anything else, or you want to step into tonight's topic?
Yes, let's go into tonight's topic. The episode today is named, what is it named?
It's named Weight Doesn't Matter. So in jiu-jitsu, the whole concept, like Hickson Gracie is always like, it doesn't matter the weight. Jiu-jitsu's for who? The littler person. Okay? And to some extent, I 100% believe it, but I came across an article on the Jiu-Jitsu Brotherhood that kind of made me rethink it, because as a white belt going against an upper belt, I wouldn't say weight matters, but when it's upper belts going against lower belts, weight definitely matters because you know how to use it, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the weight doesn't matter and say bull shark. There's no way that you can tell me that weight doesn't matter. But that's like saying flexibility doesn't matter and speed doesn't matter. Yes, I do truly believe that technique can conquer all. I think if you have good enough technique, but if I'm fighting a guy that's 170 and I'm 170 versus if I'm fighting a guy that's 340 and I'm 170, I'm going to have to use a lot more technique, even if their technical level is about the same. Somebody who's, put a really big guy in close guard. You can't.
Right.
Or triangle a really big guy. Usually you can't.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, and you blow out your knee doing it. It just gets to that point where we've created these, I don't know, what's a good word for this? Not like rooms, but like levels, I guess, in jiu-jitsu where you have a big, strong guy and you tell him like, oh, yeah, you should not use your strength, and then I'm like rolling with this guy and he's like,
focus on technique.
I'm trying to not use my strength. I'm like, dude, I just submitted you 90 times. Use your strength. Use what you have. I'm using my flexibility, my speed, my good looks. It's unfair to say like, oh, well, I'm not going to use my weight because that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I can see that. And to most people, if you haven't tried jiu-jitsu, to kind of give you a bit of an idea, like when you first start jiu-jitsu and you try to use your weight, it makes no sense. You're thinking, oh, okay, so I'm laying on the person, but then I've got my elbows on the ground, I've got my knees on the ground. They don't understand how to put pressure.
Yeah, and like Alex, as the smallest one of us, Alex is what, like 145, 140?
Like 135.
135.
Even smaller than you thought.
Okay. With change in his pockets, he's 135. And we'll see. How do you feel about when someone says like weight doesn't matter in jiu-jitsu?
I think it's 100% false, and I think it's like one of the greatest marketing techniques I think there's ever been in jiu-jitsu, and this is the whole
Alex is a conspiracy theorist.
I am super into conspiracy.
If you weren't aware.
Check out what is that, Infowars.com.
Yeah.
WikiLeaks.
Yeah, it's no, I just think honestly though, there's this kind of mystique and it's almost like people like do criticize jiu-jitsu for almost being cult-like. Sometimes hero worship and whatnot, and like there's these things that have been portrayed for a long enough time where like we buy into this whole idea of like strength, weight, like Josh said, flexibility, etc. don't matter, and I just 100% think that's false. And I think obviously if you are 2-3 times better than someone, and then whatever way you quantify that, yes, like their strength is going to matter less, but like in any athletic endeavor, like your physical attributes matter. And so I think it honestly gives a disservice to people too, especially starting out, because A, like you're showing people like they may not be using the traits that they should be using, and then B, like you're lying to people, like you're like, oh, this doesn't matter, and then people are questioning, why am I getting beat? And it's like, well, your technique isn't there, but it's like whenever I'm like disregarding strength as even a concept, it's like then that answer isn't like, I don't know,
it's not quantified.
Yeah, people I think just kind of gives you like an inaccurate representation of like physical activity, or which is like, or combat sports in general.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, my take is, as a white belt, like I'm a blue belt. And going against a white belt, I have no problem going against a white belt that's 100 pounds heavier than me, because they have no concept how to put their weight down, like so that I have to carry their weight. Now, me going against you, you're 30 pounds heavier than me. I mean,
and it's all muscle too.
Yeah,
all
like
muscle.
that's the beauty. That's tough. You know?
Yeah, well, okay, there's that, but
and hair product.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and as you progress through jiu-jitsu, you start picking up the nuances and the caveats of, I don't want all my weight coming through my rib cage. I want it pointed through my shoulder at your chin. Like it's learning how to point and add the pressure and how to add the deflection so that you're sucking up space while adding. Like it's a whole different way of doing it.
Yeah, and it's like, there's a lot of times, I used to pretty much just play guard. Had no idea how to use my weight at all.
Right.
Even up until purple belt, really could not pass a good guard for a long time. And as I really started to look at how to use my weight, how to pass and stuff, I started noticing when I'm going with guys, like they'd ask me like, "Wait, what do you weigh?" I'm like, I weigh 175. I'm like, are you serious? There was so much, you felt so heavy there because you learn how to use your weight. But, like with that, I feel like a lot of things that I do in my game wouldn't work for somebody that is maybe 40 pounds lighter than me or something like that, because, they would have to do something a little different, but to say, weight doesn't matter, just that term, I just find it weird to say weight doesn't matter, because
everything
matters. It's really relevant, but it doesn't mean just because you outweigh somebody you win.
Right. Oh yeah. There's skill level involved in like my defensive ability. For sure.
Yeah, and people will always say something like, "Man, could you take that guy? What if he sits on you?" Like, I really doubt that that's going to work. I really don't. I'm pretty much 100% sure that he's not going to be able to sit on me, because that's irrelevant. It doesn't. But he is bigger than me.
Well, yeah. It's the concept of, you come to jiu-jitsu not necessarily to learn how to defend yourself against someone else who does jiu-jitsu. It's how to defend yourself against the untrained assailant. I'm not a brown belt or a purple belt. I'm a decent blue belt. But unless I run into someone who trains with me, I wouldn't worry about a thing if I ended up in a physical altercation. Because there's no way someone's going to outwork me.
Yeah. Because everybody else that doesn't do jiu-jitsu is stupid.
Well, they just
that's exactly where we're at.
That's like I know how to do calculus, and you barely know how to add. That's the difference.
True. That's a true statement. I don't see how it applies though.
Yeah, I've actually never learned calculus though. I think my highest math class I took was pre-trig, so that's where I'm at.
Oh man,
I didn't take that.
I had ambitions of being getting a computer science degree.
That's too much, man.
Yeah. When I learned about indifferential equations, like Calc 3, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go make pretty pictures on my computer instead.
When I was a kid, growing up, like in high school, and I was taking like my math classes and stuff, and trying to prepare for what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go to college and stuff, I just wanted to teach jiu-jitsu. I was like, this is stupid. This is so irrelevant. All I have to do is be able to set a timer for 5 minutes and make everybody roll, because I know how to do this, you know? And that was where I was at. So,
but wait, kids, Mr. McKinney had to learn how to add too, because in jiu-jitsu, if you compete, you have to know math.
No, it's irrelevant.
Come on.
Don't get me wrong. I've lost a lot of matches. I've lost a lot of matches because I'm down 4, and I've said, you know what? A guard passes 3 points. If I score 3 points, I win. And then I pass the guard, and I realize, oh wait, no, three is less than 4.
Well, true. All right, so we kind of got off topic. Let me read this article real quick, and then we can kind of discuss it. So again, this came from the Jiu Jitsu Brotherhood on jiu-jitsubrotherhood.com. Weight doesn't matter. This is at the core of jiu-jitsu, and it's certainly true when we are dealing with an untrained opponent. However, what happens when we face someone who of our own rank, but with 100 pounds on us? While there are many individuals who have overcome these odds, size generally will matter. Holding your rank. People have this idea that whatever rank you are, there should be an instance when you are tapped that you are tapped by a lower belt. This is a complete garbage topic for many reasons. First, some people will raise in skill very fast from their basic knowledge and athleticism. But most importantly, as upper belts, we should put ourselves in bad situations that keep and will sometimes lead to a tap. It is too easy for an upper belt to simply avoid bad spots. We should always be working on other positions with everyone. We should let the lower belts mount us or take our backs so that we can learn BJJ, or learn what BJJ is for everyone. Probably one of the famous sayings in BJJ, but is it really true? If it were, wouldn't BJJ be a lot more popular? What about the high dropout rates most academies face? Most people quit BJJ than any other art. So how can BJJ be for everyone? The reason is simple. BJJ is good for everyone, but BJJ is not for everyone. Anyone can benefit from training, but few truly have the discipline to stick with it very long.
Yeah, I like that article. And before you ask, the font on Mr. Logan's computer was terribly small. It's not that he can't read.
Yeah,
I promise you.
Read either.
As I was watching this, I was like, man, I think we need to make that font a little bigger.
Yeah. So let's kind of dissect this. Let's go.
It seems like there's 3 different sections of this article.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of this article. We can talk about it, I guess, but we'll just start from the top.
Well, you're a late ad, Alex, so you don't really get to weigh in right yet.
It's a conspiracy, man. It's all just to get you to go to jiu-jitsu class.
It's true.
Well, okay. From my perspective, I think the key point in this, and I think it kind of goes towards what Alex was saying, and it might kind of echo how you and I feel, Josh, and it's that BJJ is good for everyone, but BJJ is not necessarily for everyone.
Oh, completely. I totally agree. When I first opened my school, my mom was going to train with us. I've been training for 8 years at this point, and I opened my own school, and my mom's like, man, I really want to train. And if you know my mom, God bless her. She is honestly one of the kindest, she's actually, right now, she is in Haiti on a mission trip. One of the most loving people in the world. But she is a competitor.
She is scary, bro.
Yeah, people see me and they're like, man, you love to compete. You can go really hard. You can push yourself. My mom is one of the most fierce competitors that I have ever met in my life.
I will second that. She can, she's got that mom stare, dude. She can take that look and I'm not even her kid, dude. She can look at me at the corner of her eye and it's like, I did something.
Yeah,
what I do?
I'm sorry.
My bad.
I'm gonna go vacuum. And for her, she does a lot of other athletic things, and with how competitive she was getting hurt a lot, and she was like, you know what, she's a personal trainer, and she was like, I'm not able to do my job as much because I'm constantly hurt from jiu-jitsu. Was jiu-jitsu good for her, and would it be good for her? Probably if she came back, yeah, probably would, but just at that time in her life, it's just not good for her right then. She's not able to do it right then.
Sure.
So I like that. Jiu-jitsu is for everybody, but it's not for everybody right now.
Yeah. Well, and you sometimes have to go into it with your understanding your expectations. I'm an older dude. I'm 35, so I'm the.
Why did you think about it so long?
Yeah,
I think that was a lie.
Well, what I mean.
Can we see your license, sir?
Yeah, I could. No, what I mean by that is not that I'm not going to be a top competitor or something. But what I mean is it's comparable. Every time I get on the mats with most of the guys that train here, I'm talking they're 18 to 27. I mean, I am at a disadvantage just by age, just like your dad or some of the older guys that come to the adult class who are far and few between. But it's I understand that. It's I may outrank somebody, but someone who's got more athleticism like Alex or Roberto, Robert, I'm cool with that. I understand my limits, but I also know what I'm looking for to get out of that training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's if you look at training every day as a way to win,
you're gonna get burned.
Well, yeah, even if you win every day, like I could win every round against a lot of people, and it's like if I do that every day, day in, day out, there's gonna be a point where I stop getting better from it. You know what I mean? Like
right.
That's kind of the thing we have to remember is, when we're in the gym, especially if you're a competitor, maybe there is a little more competition in the gym for people that don't compete. But if you compete, it does not make sense to just be the best guy in the gym. I even say that, for the area that I'm in, we're in St. Louis. Like, I don't really care if I'm the best brown belt in St. Louis. Like that's, why at my gym, pretty much everybody locally comes and trains with us. Not because like, oh man, like I want to train with Josh. It's just my gym's become this middle ground for people that, a lot of really good guys come in. And so instead of like just trying to be the best brown belt or the best guy in St. Louis, we're all trying to create the best guy in the world. We're trying to
get a world champion.
Yes, exactly.
Because we don't have one yet in the Midwest, right? Like a world champion.
Not at the black belt level, no.
Right. Well, I mean, we've got Chad Michael, who's in Effingham, purple belt, blue belt world champion.
We actually have quite a few in the Midwest that have.
Has Lovato won worlds?
Who? Yeah, Lovato won worlds at. I couldn't even tell you the year, but he was the second American to ever win worlds at black belt.
It's still technically. I mean, it's not like St. Louis Midwest, but it's like Midwest in general, right?
Nah, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
He's not
it's
one
not
of us.
St. Louis. It's irrelevant.
He's not one of us. Yeah.
And we've got some really good close competitors because we got Moose is in California now, but like he was a brown belt.
Mm-hmm. He won worlds at purple, and did really well at brown belt. Jenna Bishop, who also moved out there, she won worlds at brown belt. So you have some really good people. Now, obviously Ezra Lennon. When you say the best person in St. Louis, you have to. If you're looking at jiu-jitsu, you have to say it's Ezra Lennon. You know what I mean? Like,
don't you say you tap him all the time when you're practicing?
No. If you guys remember, me and Ezra fought like 8 months ago. I don't know if you guys got to see that video, but I didn't win. He got me.
I lost.
Yeah, he.
This way you kind of look at us.
Yeah, he was able to do some things that I didn't want him to do, and it seemed to work for him pretty well. But yeah, and we look at, we fought at Newbury, but we trained together all the time because. Did
you know what he was going to pull, or was it like, oh, I wasn't ready for that?
It was funny. Like I had this basic idea of how I was going to go about fighting, and I started trying it, and I was like, hey, my idea is working. But he's still better than me. Like, if you could say, like, hey, did everything go right? Yeah, everything that I wanted to try to do, I tried to do, but he still was just better than me,
I get it. Like, I just started coming back to competing this past year, coming into this year, just because I felt like I'm looking to kind of maybe someday start my own school, and it's like, if I want to be able to coach guys, I need that experience to kind of, play it down to them. But it's like, I remember the first time I competed after not competing for 6 years, and it's like, oh, this sucks. This is the worst. This was the worst idea ever.
I was there.
Yeah, you guys were both there. But then when I did the, is it AGF?
Yeah.
That one, that was my second one. It was no gi, where I did lose both matches. But man, it's like from that first competition, that second one, it's like because I knew what I needed to work on, I became more focused. And it's like, you get that inoculation of that fear response, and it's like, man, once you start driving that down, you start being able to detach and really assess how you want to go back. And it's like I actually felt like I was using jiu-jitsu for the first time. Yeah,
for sure, man. I think that's huge, and weight doesn't matter. I might have went off topic a little bit there, but it's
talk about
pretty much
our own podcast.
It's the funny thing about jiu-jitsu. Anybody who trains will agree with me. If you put a bunch of people that train together, you guys are going to start talking about like three things. You're going to start talking about training. You're going to start talking about that was going to be third. Food is third because jiu-jitsu guys try to diet, and it seems like none of us are good at it. You know what I mean? But then you talk about competing, and that's just no matter what topic you discuss, it's like, then it turns into, well, this one time I was at a tournament fighting Ezra, and and shout out to Ezra and Moose, who both fight each other tonight on the 5 grappling.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Awesome, yeah.
Go get them, guys.
Yes, I believe they fought twice before. I think Ezra has won both of these, but. it should be another awesome match.
Cool. What about you, Alex? You didn't really weigh in much on that. You're like, this is stupid.
I guess. What do you?
Well, I mean, was there any? Yeah, I mean, was there anything that kind of echoed your feelings, or you're like, nah, that's all bunk?
I definitely agree with. I think the holding your rank concept, or like, in the sense, I agree with their assessment of it. I guess in the sense of like, it doesn't really matter if you're getting tapped by like lower belts, etc. Like,
Yes,
I think, yeah, Josh counts the taps. Yeah. But,
that's that ego thing, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I just think it's important to like always be putting yourself in situations where people are allowed to score on you, or like how do you get better if you're like if someone is a lower rank than you, or someone's like what you consider like worse than you, or whatever that means, and they're doing something to you, like obviously they're doing something successful or you're doing something poorly. And so I think even just having that and just being like, okay, I'm going to go roll, and like there's times where, like you don't give an inch, blah blah. But if I'm just going to like work whatever I do want to do, or allow people to get in positions where they can work also, because just beating up on someone for 10 minutes is kind of rude, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to get better.
Right.
But I think just putting yourself in a spot to where like you're able to get tapped, you're able to get scored on. Maybe that's a big thing. Like I struggle with like being smaller, especially is like finding like ways to put my weight on top of people, and so like. All the rounds I've been trying to do now is like, okay, I pass, and I just try to stay on top, like all the time, stay on top. If someone like they can have the biggest bridge or whatever it is, but like find ways to redirect it or to like switch to north south, like go behind, like guillotines, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean guillotines, I'm not staying on top, so that's bad about staying on top. But just like consistently trying to like do this because I would roll with newer white belts or newer whatever, and like if they're a lot bigger than me, like I would struggle with staying on top a ton. So, I mean, if I didn't do that, then I would just still have an even worse top game. So I just think I definitely agree with that assessment in the sense of, like, it shouldn't matter. Like, your belt rank doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, I've rolled with people that are, like, higher ranks than me that I've done really well against, and I've rolled with white belts that I've trained for 10 years that have beat the absolute snot out of me, and, like, I never see them again. And you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think it's just...
And you don't know about the people that come in. Yeah, they got a white belt, but they've been doing no-gi for the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a factor.
Once a funny story about the gym, I had a girl come in, and she had been training for a long time. Like she was a blue belt when I was a blue belt. She was a purple belt at the time she came into the gym, and she had said like, "Hey, I forgot my belt," and I was like, "Well, I have an extra purple belt." I was like, "But you should wear this white belt," and I gave it to her. And really, we had like one other girl in the gym at the time, so she's rolling with a lot of the guys, and she was just like hitting this knee cut from hell on all these guys. And I was like, and they were like looking over at me like, what's going on? Like you lied to me this whole time, like jiu-jitsu doesn't work, does it? And
you dojo stormed yourself.
Yeah, and it was pretty humorous, but it's always that learning experience. Like sometimes I go
never underestimate somebody. Man.
Yeah, sometimes like you go with guys and you're like, man. They're always like, oh, he's a fake black belt or something like that. No, that doesn't mean that. Some people don't have the same athletic.
Some people have been injured for how long? It's like when's the last time they trained? Like that's so many things too.
And so
it's complex.
All I try to look at it is like, how I do in competition. It matters for how I do in competition. That's it. Like in training, I'm simply training to get better. Every single day in, day out. And like in every position, there are times that I really want to work my escapes from side control, my defense from side control. My dad kind of always says, he's also a brown belt. He says, I don't want to be a brown belt from guard. I want to be a brown belt from my guard, from side control, from mount, when I have your back, when you have my back. I want to be brown belt everywhere, because, that's what makes well-rounded jiu-jitsu people. And obviously, things are different when you're going to compete. Obviously you're going to have things that you favor more, things that work better for you. But, like as a guard player for the longest time, there were times where I would get pulled on and I would say, oh, well, I lose. I just lost this match.
This sucks.
Man, I wonder what I'm going to post on Facebook after this and, what excuse I can make. And I was like, no, screw that. I'm going to get good at passing the guard, and maybe I still pull guard. Maybe I try to fight for top sometimes. Yeah. Being able to, fight in any scenario is so important.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it's just like, just with martial arts in general, you have to be able to, be well-rounded.
Yeah. I take a little different stance, I think, than you two. Like, I like going with the lower.
How dare you?
I know. I am the hard to play.
You're off the podcast.
I'll take my toys and go home.
Crap. He brought everything. Okay.
We're
You
cool.
can stay, man.
No, okay. So for me, Yeah, and like when I kind of took a break from jiu-jitsu for like a year. I had some stuff going on, needed a break.
Life.
Yeah, more or less. And when I came back, I worked really hard. It's like I almost felt like I started over with my ego, like, I got to protect my belt. I gotta keep my rank. And it's like as I've kind of progressed through here and gotten more comfortable with everybody, one of the things I kind of like to do, or I like to see, is when somebody I've worked with at the gym quite a bit, like I'll let them put me in a bad position and them being able to finish, and it's a huge confidence and a little bit of an ego boost. They tap the blue belt. It keeps them coming back. It's because you always hear the things about white belts are nails to be hammered in.
And that's all they are.
Yeah, and it's
they're
like
trash.
But
Scum of the earth.
And in my perspective, I think they're the biggest asset we have, because we don't get better if we don't have them to keep the foundation going.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's my take.
Yeah, man, that's huge. Is treating white belts like people.
Well, yeah, it's like
because they are.
Yeah, well, you have to keep them here. And it's not just because they pay me a gym membership and I want you guys to keep them here for
they're
me.
people.
Yeah, it's just like how you treat a white belt is going to determine how good of a person you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's like obviously not all white belts are like very easy roles and stuff. There are good white belts and stuff, but I'm thinking about guys that you have white belts that come in here that are 50-year-old women.
Right.
Being able to treat them well and work with them and not be like, man, I'm going to avoid rolling with this person. That's like a determiner of who you are as a person.
It shows character.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have to do it.
Right.
They're one of my students. I always try to, obviously I'm going to try to do it, but as another student, I think it's huge to treat those people with a lot of respect and help them, in the way you would want to be helped.
Well, you remember your struggle, I would think, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody who's gotten a new color belt started at a white belt at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We all were even worse than we were currently today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, and too, let me put, there is a caveat out there, because I'm sure somebody's going to bring it up, but there are the occasional white belt spazzes that can't check their ego and understand.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I've rolled with plenty of them. Yeah.
They can't understand that. The point here isn't to like beat on your chest. It's to learn and help. It's a fraternal group. We're here to help each other, not hurt and render each other useless. And in that case, then sometimes people need tune-ups.
Yeah, no, exactly. And even if we look at it sometimes it is like a beating your chest contest. I think you definitely see that is that like people forget that like sometimes I'm letting you work, and so like you're scoring on me, like maybe like it's just like I know if I never do score on Josh, but I know when I like have good rolls with Josh.
Act like you've been there before.
He's going light. If we could go day in and day out and smash. But I remember this is like an interesting story a while ago. It's not interesting. I'm a horrible storyteller, but I just remember a specific instance to where I was talking like a ton of trash on Josh.
This was a good time.
And I don't know
if I remember right. You kept saying you were going to X pass me over and over again. I think that was I think you were saying you were going to X pass me and then let me back into guard and then X pass me again.
And I'm pretty sure that's what
I right?
I think this seems very accurate.
Okay, yeah.
And I was obviously never close to doing this, but Adam Marburger, one of our friends, told Josh, he was like, he either said he'll buy a plane ticket, or it was something like, I'll give you $100.
I believe it was a plane ticket for Nogi Worlds. He said he would pay for my plane ticket for Nogi Worlds.
For however many times he submitted me in one round, and I got triangled probably like 5 6 times in like a 4-minute round probably, or maybe 5 minutes.
And that's how you made it to Worlds that year.
Yeah. But it was like, I deserved that. There was definitely points where it's like I was being a douchebag, and like even though it was like playful, like you could.
But you saw that in yourself too. Like you saw what. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it definitely is like a necessity sometimes to be like
turn your it's almost like you turn the mirror back on. Like, dude, the reason I turned it up on you is you had an ego. Do you recognize that? Do you adjust course?
And I think sometimes too, like there's too much emphasis on people. I think like you do have to be confident in yourself, and you do have to have an ego to a degree. I just think it has to be in perspective. Like there should never be a point where like I have an ego over like Josh or my coach Kyle or whoever it is, because like they're obviously like leagues ahead of me, but there's people that like I train on a day basis that I don't necessarily think it's a problem to have confidence or an ego over, because like especially if you're going to be a competitor, like you have to believe in yourself, you know what I mean? But I definitely think that there's levels of like you just have to recognize that everything, like some rounds like people are hurt, people have like a crappy day at work, whatever it is, and then other times you don't have that excuse, you know what I mean? So I think it's a balancing act. But like, there's definitely people I train with that like I know I'm better than, and like that's okay. But like, there's people that like I'm going to respect, or I'm at least going to like not talk as much crap on now because like I know they're better than me, and like they can prove it on any given day.
Kyle always put it in perspective for me when I was training with him a lot was, don't compare yourself to another person. I mean, their journey is different than yours. And it's like, when he first said it the first couple times, it didn't really make sense. But then it's like, well, then how do you gauge where you are? It's like, it's more internal. It's like, where do you feel you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's the article. Do you guys want to move on to some Q&A we got from the internet?
Yes, we asked on Facebook, I don't know however many days ago.
Months.
Actually, yeah, it was probably a few months ago. Just if people had any jiu-jitsu related questions. You know, obviously all the questions we got were like, Josh, what hair product do you use? Who do you go to? You know, those were most of the questions, but we just took out the jiu-jitsu related ones.
Yeah.
And those are the ones we're going to hit.
All right. So first question. So this is from the perspective of a parent. What would my child learn from jiu-jitsu?
They would learn jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and that's
okay.
like, you know, like if you, I guess obviously you're going to learn jiu-jitsu, you're going to learn to defend yourself. You know, even if you go to kind of a sucky school, you're going to kind of get some basic ideas on how to defend yourself. It's a much better way to defend yourself because you're not punching other kids in the face. You know what I mean? You have to think about that in school.
The legality aspect.
Yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble, but if you hold another kid down and said, you know, like, hey, he was, you know, picking on me, and you said, you know, and I just kind of like diffused the situation.
Yeah.
If you use the term diffuse the situation to one of your teachers, they'd be like, oh, this kid's sharp, he's cool.
Yeah.
You know, but no, genius. I think more importantly, you get confidence. You know, like for me, I started when I was very young, and you know, like I said, I was overweight. I didn't really have any confidence, and it was just really, and it wasn't like confidence for me personally of like, man, if somebody tries to jump me, I know I'm going to be able to defend myself. It was just confidence being able to talk to people because, you know, I was forced to talk to people all the time. I was forced, you know, like we trained at the hit squad a long time ago, and they would have all these guys in from all these other countries. Someone literally would not speak English. So I would just have to go communicate with people I'd never met before and then try to choke them. You know, it was such a good confidence builder for me just to be able, you know, like to stop being so shy. And there are even times that I'm still shy, you know what I mean? But like,
can't tell.
Yeah, but like, you know, I had been forced into all these situations where I had to talk to people that I was like, well, I better get good at this. You know?
Well, yeah, and now that your profession is a professional trainer, like fitness trainer, you're talking to everybody all the time.
You're forced to, you know, and that like has helped me in a lot of other aspects, like, you know, in sales and you know, just in life in general. But like, you know, Alex, you started when you were what, like
14, right around there, yeah.
And so yeah, like what did you?
God, you guys are young.
Yeah, I'm young. I still am 14 actually.
You look at it.
What were you saying, Josh?
But yeah, like what you know, if you just took one thing, you know, the biggest thing you learned from jiu-jitsu at that age, what would you say? Would it be a certain technique, or would it be a, you know, anything?
I really do. Like I don't joke and say jiu-jitsu, but I think confidence is a huge thing. That was something I think I definitely lacked through like a large portion of my life, just like with the friend groups I had and the people I surrounded myself with. And I think like training a martial art, like that was a huge it's just a huge like confidence booster because like I used to take like a lot of crap from a lot of people, and like whenever I started training, like this started to go away. Like people realized like, oh, like
did it go away or did your confidence go up and it didn't matter?
A mix of the two. I mean, I've always hung out with like a little bit rougher kids and whatnot. So there's a lot of fights. Yeah, you just
street
stuff.
smarts.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. No, there's always been like a lot of fights amongst people and whatnot, and so it was always kind of like. It was just nice to have like there was like I guess like an initial respect I got out of it because it was like I used to take crap and then I like started doing something and then people like I think people just started to respect that because I wasn't just like the whipping boy anymore. Now I'm whipping boy in jiu-jitsu, not like whipping boy and like
but that's okay.
amongst friend groups.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that is a huge aspect of it, and like obviously everyone's like personal journey is different. So like that's kind of I think a very specific aspect of like confidence. But that was always something that helped me out a lot personally, I guess.
I gotcha. Mine would be twofold. One is discipline.
Well, this is coming from a parent who has 2 kids in jiu-jitsu right now.
Yeah, two of different age. My oldest daughter is 9, and a gray white belt, and my youngest one just started. She's 4, and she's a savage.
She is aggressive.
She is, man. Like you walk into her and you say, "What's up?" She'll like try to slap and bump with you, and then shoot for a single. It's crazy. But so the first one's discipline, and I don't mean like it's self-discipline. It's they learn to have mental toughness of getting through something that is difficult. Mm-hmm. Someone's trying their hardest against your hardest. It's different and it's unique. So there's the discipline and empathy. They learn to be empathetic of the opponent or the person that they might have to use jiu-jitsu on down the road somewhere too. So they're going to know exactly how much they may or may not need to, quote unquote, hurt the person to make them stop. They're not going to just like punch them. Like in a punching or a self-defense scenario, you can adjust your punch a little bit, like how hard you throw it. But
you're still punching them.
Right, and two, the person,
to stop somebody, you have to hit them hard. You know?
Yeah. I mean, most people have this misconception that if I just swing, if I throw a haymaker at you, I'm going to hit you so hard it's going to break your face off, and that is sadly not the reality.
Especially for kids.
Yeah, well, most likely your kid's going to hit the other kid someplace on a hard part of their head. They're going to have a boxer's fraction or a broken thumb. I mean, there's no winners in a fist fight.
Man, it's just always worst case scenario with you, isn't it, man?
Yeah, I am very stoic, so I'm constantly thinking of the worst case scenario everywhere. Definitely. But yeah, that's my take on it. Like, especially being the father of 2 daughters and the reality of society and life, my girls are not going to grow up to be victims of anything or anyone. Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
They're going to have strong self-confidence in themselves, and not that they can beat somebody up, but they're going to be situationally aware of, this place maybe not be where I want to be. Maybe I need to take a step back and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And even then, being able to beat someone up is a good thing. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, what's the rule about going to prison, man? Your first day, you got to mess somebody up so everybody knows.
Even the prison.
I didn't know that. I've never.
I don't think.
I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Our next question is pretty a lot on the same topic, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So the next question is
this from a parent also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next time when my fault. Like I didn't capture people's names.
You're the worst.
I am.
Oh, this was Suzanne Q.
Yeah, Suzanne Q.
From Massachusetts.
Susan B.
Hey, Suzanne, how are you doing?
You betcha. All right. So the next question is: would you suggest jiu-jitsu above other school or recreational sports?
I think it depends on like the goal, and it depends like what you want to get out of it, and I think also too the big part of it is like what does your kid want to do? I mean, I think
that's huge.
That's like the biggest thing I think with a lot of sports I see because just like if your kid, I've seen so many kids get burned out on a sport or a particular activity because like they didn't necessarily choose it, so they may have enjoyed it for a little while, or they just hated it the entire time they were doing it. And so it's like, while there's beneficial things I think for particular like sports, you're at the end of the day like it should just be about having fun. Like you should just be able to like enjoy it and have a good time and whatnot. But I think if I'm going to answer the question in the sense of like let's just disregard my kids, whatever, like screw you kid, you're going to do what I'm going to tell you to do. I think I would have my kid wrestle 100%. I think it's bad for the body, obviously. Like I can tell you how many friends that I have that have wrestled at like a higher level or just in general that have like consistent surgeries, whatever, at their time because they started so young. So maybe not start them incredibly young, but I think just wrestling is obviously a very long history, like a tradition of existing, and I think there's like a lot of I guess like culture around it, good and bad. But I think just the mental toughness aspect, and I think just being able to I think the aspect of like the huge emphasis on being able to stay on top in a fight, or like just being able to take someone down at a very high level is like something that's super important. And especially if you look at it in a self-defense aspect, and I think that's something that's lacking in jiu-jitsu. And so I think that like the majority, even of wrestlers, like are like going to be able to handle themselves in a fight, and like you don't need to know how to submit someone. If I can put like if you can cradle someone, or if you can put someone in the quarter Nelson or whatever, and just like stump their shoulders on the mat or on the floor or concrete, whatever it is, and just stick them there. Like it doesn't matter if you don't know how to armbar them or do like a Kimura. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's my take on that at least.
I think I'm in the same boat. What are you trying to accomplish? You know?
Yeah.
If obviously your kid is going to kind of want to do what they want to do. Like I say, maybe if your kid's only goal is to like play video games all day, maybe you should put him or her in something.
Yeah.
But like if you're looking at it like, man, I want my kid to make millions of dollars one day from a sport, jiu-jitsu is not it. I can assure you of that. Jiu-jitsu will. Jiu-jitsu. I think they're doing a better job of making it a fan sport, but people aren't getting punched in the face. It's not going to be a fan sport. It's going to be a sport that's the fans are practitioners. But like if you look at it as in like, if my kid runs into somebody that wants to hurt them in a dark alley, I doubt the person's going to leave them alone if they can throw a good curveball. It's going to be, it's going to be like, can you defend yourself? It's just like, what are the reasoning, you would want this? You know what I mean? Like, but obviously I'm going to be, I'm going to be in favor of
jiu-jitsu all the time. Exactly. I get that.
But if I have somebody, if we put myself in a situation where I said like a parent comes in and says, like my kid isn't doing anything, I'm not going to say, hey, have your kid go try baseball.
Sure,
No, screw
exactly.
that. I'm going to say, hey, come try this out. See if your kid will enjoy it.
Yeah. Did you guys play sports in high school?
No. I mean, I just like to play video games for a long time. Then I started training martial arts. So
I literally never played anything until my first jiu-jitsu competition.
Man, you mean I'm the athlete out of the three of us?
You are the super athlete. Tell us what high school sports were like, Logan.
Yeah.
Tell us, did you have your Letterman jacket with you today?
You know what? I lettered in multiple sports, but I didn't have a Letterman's jacket.
Sure.
I had a full ride offer in tennis to college. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I finished.
Offer? Is it you didn't take it?
Yeah. I had kind of a weird upbringing, and I decided I didn't like living at home and decided to get a jump start on my adult life right out of high school. And, moved out, kind of lived. I've been on my own since I was little over 18.
I didn't know our producer was a bad boy.
Well, it's subjective. But, let's see. In high school, I played basketball, football, tennis. Dude, all right. You make fun of it, but I'd murder you on a tennis court.
Ooh. There's a challenge here.
Yeah, that's a challenge, man.
Facebook Live.
Yeah, I tried baseball, but I just could not hit that stupid ball with a bat. If
you had a tennis racket, you would have nailed it, right?
Well, it's like, I don't know, I always would pull my head or something, but if I hit the ball, it'd go forever. But that's my take. That's my background. Yeah.
All right. I think
we're getting close to time, so
let's go one more question then.
Maybe two. We'll see.
Oh, maybe two.
Let's see.
Let's get a good one.
Subjective. All right, let's see.
Subjective.
Let's do. Okay.
Logan, when you were a bad boy, did you get any tattoos?
No, that came much, much later in life.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Okay, is gi or no gi the best example of the art? Why or why not?
Gi. No gi's stupid. No, I'm completely.
Haven't you successfully competed more in no gi than gi?
No, I've competed more in the gi, definitely. I've had some good successes in no gi, but I've probably been more successful in the gi too. It's just that, I think I almost like both. I know that's such a cop-out answer.
Okay, I was gonna say let me rephrase the question. If a parent or somebody came into the school and said, "Dude, I only have time to do one or the other," what would you?
I would definitely say gi, and that's just because I feel the transition from gi to no gi is easier. Like eventually, if you want to go down the road, if you want to go in to no gi, I think it's a much easier transition than guys that have been training no gi for so long. How many times anybody who's trained for over a year, you get a guy that comes in like, I've got 4 years no-gi experience. You play spider guard on him, you triangle him, and they say, I hate the gi, and then they don't want to put it on again.
It's stupid, yeah.
Like when you take my gi off, that sounded weird.
When
I take my own gi off
with my eyes,
because that's what I do. And I'm gonna train no-gi. I honestly don't feel this huge difference. You know what I mean? Because I've done this for so long. At first, there are times that I'll go 6 months of only training the gi, and then someone says, "Hey, we're getting ready for no gi worlds." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And so there's about a week of I just feel a little off. I feel a half second behind on everything, but
It catches up.
Yeah, it catches up. I just don't, and like even when we do that month long of no gi, and then we try to go back to the gi, I notice my grips hurt. I notice way more. It's way harder just from that transition, even though I train more in the gi. So that's just but that's just like, that's my preference. You can ask somebody else. I'm sure if you ask Eddie Bravo, he would disagree. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, that's his whole system, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think the art can be beautiful in both senses, but like if you phrase the question like that, somebody new comes into my gym and says, I can only do one. What am I going to do? I would.
What am I going to get the most out of?
Yeah, I would rather you do gi and then only get in fights in the winter when people are wearing like winter coats, so you can.
Or you just move to like Canada or someplace that's cold.
That's
and they're
not
always
a bad
going
idea.
to be wearing them.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, from my perspective, I hate the saying of, well, no gi's like a fight. It's like, no, it's not. If I'm going to fight with you, I'm going to grab you by the pants, the shorts, the shirt, and I'm going to beat the hell out of you.
Yeah, you know what? Anytime you invert, it's not like a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not just because
if you butt scoot, it's not a fight.
Yeah, it's not just because you're going to get punched. But have you ever tried to like invert on concrete?
It hurts.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm sure I've done it, and that hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, and like like if you ever, a lot of things in jiu-jitsu are not like a fight because
it's a sport.
It's a sport. It's a sport.
Yeah,
It's an art.
Sport, yeah.
And like I feel like. If I'm going to play guard in a real fight, I want to play guard for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, just enough to sweep.
Yeah, just because it's very uncomfortable to lay on concrete, especially when someone is on top of you trying to hurt you.
And wants to actually hurt you.
Yeah.
This isn't a game anymore, yeah.
Well, what about you, Alex?
I guess it kind of depends what you mean by best example of the art, but I think if you just like are wanting to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think 100% you should be doing gi, just because it is we train the like that's just like kind of the basis for the art. I think I don't know, like that's, and you miss. I like have a love-hate relationship with the gi, and I usually hate it like 99% of the time. So I do like no gi a ton, but I just think that there's just so much more added elements to the game, like grip, like we're gripping, guards, etc. And I think as long as you keep it in perspective, like if like this like it does get a little more. I don't know. It gets very sportive on both sides of it, but I think. If you were like, I want to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think there's no, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with this. I just think that like, you have to train in the gi. If you were saying like, because that's what it's born out of, you know what I mean? Look at it like a traditional sense, like that's what it came from. And like, this is what we've done for so long, you know what I mean? So like, it's not that you're not learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu if you're not training in the gi. Obviously it's 100% false. But I just think that like, if someone was like, I want to learn like the art of Jiu-Jitsu, whatever that means, I would be like, well, I think you have to train in the gi for sure. So that'd be like my best example of it, would be training in the gi.
For me, I think the gi is the best representation of the art. But with that being said, if I compete, I like to compete in no gi because it's faster.
I think I do better in no gi too.
Yeah, because I'm small, I'm skinny. And it lets me play to my athleticism because you can't grab and hold and slow me down. You can frame and push and try to impede my pass, but I just feel like I have a more tactical advantage in that sense.
I definitely get that.
Okay. All right. We're getting closer, so this will be the last question. So, do you recommend competing? Why or why not?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be unanimous.
It's
What's the
going,
reason? Yeah.
Well, I made a decision at like my gym when I first started that I was never going to discourage anybody from competing. If somebody wanted to compete, I was pretty much going to say like, yes, you should 100% compete. And then I decided to change that philosophy from, I'm never going to discourage anybody from competing, but I'm also never going to let any of my guys compete with the wrong attitude. If you're going to compete, I really think competing is important. I think it's going to be, even if you're doing jiu-jitsu for self-defense, it's going to be
probably
so
even
much
more important than that.
Yeah, it's so much faster pace. It's so much, it's so weird when you're going against somebody and you look at them and say, I have no idea what this person knows, what they don't know, what they want to play, what they don't want to play. Your first match of competing, that is as much like a fight that you can have without actually getting hit. You can even simulate punches in the gym, and it is not going to compare.
That's your friend trying to hit you.
Exactly.
You know their game, you know their athletic ability.
It does not compare to
Who in here, has anybody in here done a MMA fight besides me?
I haven't.
No, I don't believe in fighting.
Would you ever?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% am going to fight eventually.
No, screw that. No,
Not this.
No way. No way.
He's too
It's
beautiful.
not. No,
Look
it's
at
not the. It's not the face that matters. It's what's behind the face,
Dude,
the brain.
the-
That's I'm a bigger fan of.
The one and only fight I ever had was against a dude they called Mean Mike Green, the St. Louis street fighting legend from St. Louis.
That is a great name.
Yeah, it was. It was a sucker punch. It was a sucker deal too. It was a Steve Berger production. I started out. I was supposed to go against a 1-1 guy, and they put me against him, and he ended up breaking 2 of my ribs and gave me a guillotine in the first round.
That sounds very pleasant.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm glad you're here and alive. You
Yeah,
survived.
yeah, me too. Was there anything else?
I mean, no, just like basically my thing is yes, compete because you are going to. It's going to be the most real life experience. I always tell people you learn so much about yourself when you go compete, and it's just like you can have a crowd of 3 people watching you, but for some reason that crowd of 3 people combined with seeing the clock and combined with the referee telling you to come out, there's just something like more real about that.
It's awakening.
You know, for me, that is the realest experience. Every time I go out and compete, and it's different. And literally, it's different for me every time. You know, I've probably done a lot of tournaments. I couldn't even tell you like off the top of my head, but like I've probably competed somewhere like 80 to 100 times, like literally that many different tournaments, not just matches, tournaments. And it's a different experience each time. It's like, sometimes my mindset's here and sometimes it's here, and I don't even know which one's better. It's just,
exactly.
You learn so much about yourself when you just go out there and try to do your best, And so I think like if somebody is on the fence, like, and there's always the excuse of when my weight gets down, or when I do this, or when I do that, or when I'm a little better, if you look at competing as, man, I'm going to be the king of the white belts, no, like you can always say pretty much like at every tournament, man, you could have just competed at a belt level higher. You win, like, oh, good for you, but you could have just competed up at purple belt, or you could have just, so is winning that relevant? Yeah, it's fun, and it's important to get that experience. And but like I love the guys that like will get 3rd place in the division of 3, but be so proud of that medal. Not like brag about it, but just be proud of that. Like, and people like hate them for that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I think maybe there's something wrong with it if you're trying to act like if you're trying to use it as a selling point for your school or something. But like, there's nothing wrong with just going out and testing yourself and losing, because you went out and tested yourself. There's a lot of people at the gym that will never do that, and then even more people at your work that will never do that. When's the last time like someone will say something like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this because you might get hurt," and that scares you. Somebody at your work, and you're like, dude, what do you know, Karen? Like this is what I love to do. When's the last time you did anything?
Yeah. Bro, it's more scary for me not to compete.
Yeah, seriously.
When your body is probably more broken from just sitting around doing nothing all the time. Like I'd rather have like a deteriorating body from doing something I enjoy.
At least I can touch my toes.
Exactly. Versus being incredibly unhealthy and doing nothing all the time.
But for you guys, I'm sure your answer is yes. I'm just going to assume that your answer is yes to competing.
It is, but it's for a very different reason.
What is it?
It's to looking at jiu-jitsu as a self-defense. Like that's why I started. I was bullied horribly through high school, picked on a lot. I was just always small, kind of like Alex. All through high school, I think my senior year, I finally made it to like 145 pounds, like small. But it was that fear response that any altercation, verbal, physical, mental, whatever, like I would feel myself shutting down. And it's because if you don't know how to deal with it and mentally push through like that fear response, that fight or flight, everybody's default is normally flight. And competing, that's what I was talking about earlier, where that first time I competed after being off for so long, like I felt like I was dying during that first match.
Yeah.
That was my fear response.
Yeah.
And the fact that I inoculated myself to, it's like, okay, I know what this is going to feel like, and I know what it's going to feel like next time. It's going to be a little less. Next time, a little less.
There was a point in that, I know those things happen so fast that, it's even hard to remember everything that happened that day, but there was a point in that where you had the throw-ups, you had that sick feeling, and, you were going to fight for 3rd place. And I was like, I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I didn't want to, because that's not my decision. I wanted you to go out and compete. And, your face said like, oh my gosh, I'm dead. But you said, no, I'm going to go, even if I lose, I'm going to go compete because.
That's that mental toughness. Like, I want that for myself. And it's like, to me, it's not defending your belt that makes you better at jiu-jitsu. Like, that's not what the increases are. It's understanding how you're going to respond from that physical altercation and how you're going to deal with it by being able to emotionally detach from that and function better than the other person. Like, that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, as we progress and if I ever get it and start my own school, it's like, that's what I want my students to do. Not because it's like, I don't care like you. I don't care if you win or lose. Finish third. I want you to have that experience. I want you to know that about yourself. That's how you learn about that.
Yeah, that's big. What about you, Alex?
Do I recommend competing and why?
Yeah.
I do. I obviously said, yeah, unanimously. I for sure do agree with competing. I think push compete. And I think it kind of ties into both of what you guys have said. And I think a big thing for me is like, hey, I think competing is fun. I don't think it's always fun, but I think like I'm always glad I competed afterwards. I guess that's what I meant to say. It's always fun in the moment. It's always fun losing. I've lost a lot of matches. My first ever match, actually, I got flying armbarred by someone.
And that's like a common joke I hear. Like,
this is true. This is the thing. And I was 14. The kid was 17. I've held a grudge. His name's Caleb Shepard. I'm calling him out. I want to see if he still trains.
Let's murder.
But he flying armbarred me in like 14 seconds or something like that. Like I remember specifically like what happened. But I obviously haven't competed since then. And I just think it's important to like put yourself in that position because like we said, Josh said, is that like when we're there, like we don't know anything about the person. Obviously, you can after a while, but just like in the very base instant of it, you don't know anything about the person. You don't know their game. You don't know how strong they are. You don't know how mentally tough they are.
Right.
And I think it just like it tells you a lot about yourself, like how you react to the situation, like what you do while you're competing. You're able to implement your game plan, and so I think it's fun. And then it's also just like I think it's important to just put yourself in uncomfortable positions in life because like. That's how you grow. You don't grow from just like sitting around and doing the exact same things all the time. Like that's how you stagnate. And so I think competing is like a very like, literal embodiment of like I'm going to put myself in a super uncomfortable situation and like try to grow out of it and see how I react in it. Because like when you're shooting for that takedown on your point, I pull. So I'm just saying when you're pulling,
you're a kitten killer.
Exactly. And some people are. It's like doing whatever, stuffing whatever sweep it is, etc. And like it just comes down to like so much of it is mental toughness. Who's going to be tougher? I don't know. Yeah. And like I like that. I like that like rawness of it, I guess. And like that's a 90-day combat sport, and I just enjoy that. I don't know. Man,
you're warped. Like that is the one side, like the mental aspect that I've had to work on the hardest because like I hate competing. I hate how I feel leading up to it. Like I will mentally try to come up with any reason not to do it.
It's every thought, it's what you stay up.
Well, there's a rarity of people who are like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's why I do it because I know I don't want to.
Yeah, like, and this is like coming from somebody that literally has only competed in jiu-jitsu. That is it. Like I have never competed in anything else that wasn't like a board game at home or a video game online. Like jiu-jitsu is all I ever competed in. That was the toughest thing for me, and still, to this day, I struggle with, there are times that I feel like, man, I just made. Like I was going with a guy that I really should have beaten, like I really, should have dominated, honestly. And, like maybe I got lazy or I got, timid is probably the better word to use. But you have to be honest with yourself. You can't say like, oh man, like he just did this or, the ref just screwed me or this happened. Like you have to say, no, what, I made a mental error, and mental errors are a lot harder to fix than technical errors, but you have to just say, what, I made this error, how do I fix it? And you ask people, just like if you had a technical problem.
Watching tape,
because like I talked to my coach who, fought in the UFC, so like he's
the greatest.
He's the best ever. I love it. But yeah, he, like,
we should get him over here sometime.
Yes, and for sure, like eventually I think we should have some, maybe even next time we should have some type of guest or something like that, but because I'm tired of talking to you guys. But no, like, so being able to talk to him about the mental aspect of, like, obviously, you fight in that big of a stage.
The highest level.
Yeah, for a long time, that was the most sold pay-per-view, too, that he was on. And it's like, you go and you fight in that. You got to learn how to deal with.
That's something I would say Kyle, like, definitely has that mental game. Because that's hard. And two, to be able to pass on the knowledge of, dude, just turn it off. Because that's like saying, oh, you just keep your eye on the ball in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's That's the dumbest
advice.
advice.
It is. And you can't,
You can't push through what you don't know how to push through.
Kind of how I know this has been a long question, but I know this is something more people struggle with than probably I think when competing is the mental aspect of competing. Something I always try to tell my students, and I'm sure I've told you guys at some point or another, is you can only control two things. And this sounds, I know it sounds totally crazy, but you really can only control two things, and that match really isn't one of them.
Yeah.
You can control your preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where your confidence comes from. Any confidence that doesn't come from preparation is delusion.
Yeah.
It's like any time that you say, "Oh man, I'm great," not because I trained hard, but because I'm great.
Because I'm me.
Self-belief.
You're stupid. If you really believe that, because the people you're fighting train hard.
Yeah, they think they're better than you too.
Yes, you always can assume that the people that you're going to fight, especially in jiu-jitsu now, people that you're going to fight are going to be good. No matter what your division is or whatever, they're going to be good. They're going to be able to fight you. And then you can control your response to losing or winning.
Mm-hmm.
You can respond badly to win. You can take a win as, oh man, I'm better than everybody, and that's it. You can take a win as, I worked this hard, I bet I would win again if I worked even harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can take a loss kind of the same way. You know what? This isn't my preparation. The more you prepare, the better you prepare for things, the better you're going to be mentally for them. And then, you're still probably going to get that nervousness, but if you have really good cardio, that adrenaline dump in the very beginning isn't going to be as relevant as when your cardio sucks and you have that adrenaline dump and you die.
Yeah.
You're one of the guys that has a heart attack on the mat. That's not what we want.
No.
Less than ideal.
Well, I guess that's it, guys.
Yes.
Hey, a successful South American Ground Karate Podcast, number 1.
Yes, so this has been the South American Ground Karate Podcast with Josh McKinney, Logan Wayne, and Alex Nantel. Thank you guys for listening. If you're still there, if you guys enjoyed this, please like our page and subscribe.
Later.